So this article here is titled "Pundit Believes Current XRP Price is a Glitch." I don't know what they mean by that. They're going to have to clarify. But the next part is what's really interesting, in my opinion. It says, predicts price beyond imagination as global standard, as a global standard. Well, it depends. A lot of people have some brilliant imaginations. So it may not be beyond everyone's imagination, but let's find out what they're talking about here. I love a bullish prediction, 100%. So Versan Al-Jara, a host of the Black Swan Capitalist podcast, believes the current XRP price value merely represents a price glitch. Yeah, I don't understand what they mean by that. Do you mean that it's manipulated? Definitely possible. I mean, silver's been highly manipulated itself as an example of something that the price has been greatly suppressed. So I could see it being very manipulated and price suppressed. It says, noting that XRP could see a price explosion on its path to becoming a global standard. Well, they definitely have set themselves up beautifully for sure. They put in the visible work. You saw what they're doing with Georgia CBDC. You saw you heard what they're doing and read about it, what they're doing with Dubai. Then the other day, you just heard about what they're doing with Kuwait. They're making no secret of what they're building. Now, what the potentiality is of that to different people, they have to make up their own minds on that, right? But I mean, through my eyes, yeah, it's super bullish. And I mean, there's still some hurdles to jump over. And that's what I'm paying attention to, not just the partnerships, but the hurdles that have to be jumped over now. But, you know, a lot of people are not going to hear that. They don't want to know about the building. They don't want to know about the climbing that has to be done before you reach the top of the mountain. They just simply want to reach the top of the mountain. It just, the life just does not work that way. It just doesn't. But let's keep going here. It says it bears mentioning that XRP has been the subject of multiple price glitches across several exchanges, including Gemini, where it surged to $50. Amid this pattern, Al-Jara thinks the price of the asset, currently at 68 cents, is another price glitch. I just don't understand that. Maybe there's something I'm missing here. But if it's the price across all of the different charts, then it has to be the real price. Although, like I said, if this is to be interpreted as the price is highly suppressed, then that I could get on board with that. I could fathom that. It says, in a recent post on X, he stressed that this value should not be the yardstick by which to measure XRP's potential. Now, it's not my yardstick, not at all. My yardstick is trillions of dollars at some point in the future, possibly moving through XRP, scaled into quadrillions over years to come. If XRP is going to do what it needs to do at its full potential, and it can do that. All of these systems are severely limited. The FedNow system, severely limited. FedWire system, severely limited. All of them are siloed. Let's not pretend here. They're all siloed. They have no interoperability. The BIS is constantly crying about interoperability that only we can provide. Quant can help with that. But really, we don't really need Quant. Look, if you want to have the most successful network, have all of the different, this is why Ripple has all of these different banks signed up. Because if you have one system running everything, you don't really need interoperability much, do you? And I mean, we're just trying to move huge wholesale amounts of capital, really. You want to keep it simple, boil it down to the essence of XRP, which wholesale is going to be consistent. Now, someone said something recently where I was making a comment and I said that XRP could become rare. Not that it would become rare. It could become rare. You know, I don't think in absolutes. I think in possibility, and I understand both sides of a possibility, but it could become rare. Why? Not because of the amount of XRP that is there, but if all of that is taken off of the public exchanges and put into private ecosystems, then how would retail get any of that? I mean, the few that are holding now, there's only a little bit of people holding XRP in comparison to everyone on earth, that is, you know. But if you take that off the market and you have that in private ecosystems, like ideas that were floated years ago, then that makes it rare. That XRP, first of all, let's just establish that tons of XRP is burned with the higher amount of transactions. So that's going to occur as well. There's going to be a massive amount of burning if XRP is to live up to what it's supposed to do. So that's number one. Number two, if it's in closed ecosystems, private blockchains, because I don't see most of these companies working with public blockchains. They're going to take that. I just see them taking XRP. This is two banks. You take XRP off the market, the amount that you need, and whatever your network is, but we're just going to use two banks for this example. It just keeps flowing back and forth between them. Why would they not be able to do that? Maybe they don't do that, but I'm saying, why would they not be able to do that? Why would they allow the possibility of it to flow out of them and back into public hands, retail hands? I just wouldn't do that. I don't see the logic in that. So in that way, it becomes rare, burning in private ecosystems. It doesn't have to mean that there's a little bit of something, because gold is thought to be rare. There's a ton of gold. There's a lot of gold out there. They're buying gold by the tons, but it's still thought to be rare. All this information is relative. It doesn't mean there's a little bit of it. It's about how it's utilized, how hard it is to acquire such a thing. There's a ton of silver out there, ton of platinum out there too. There's a lot of platinum out there, but platinum is still thought to be rare, right? It's all relative. Right. It's all relative to how it's used, how easily it is acquired. And if they take XRP into a private ecosystems, it's going to be hard to acquire. Right? Anybody else is going to be near impossible. And I think I could be wrong. I'm okay with that. It doesn't make a difference, man. Look, I woke up this morning. I get to live another day. I get to maximize everything another day. A lot of people that I know don't have this opportunity to walk the earth again. You know what I'm saying? I keep that in my mind. So I'm okay no matter what, as long as that occurred. I'm going to maximize my opportunity. So what I'm saying is, if I'm wrong, that's the least of my concerns, but I'm going to try my absolute best to be right in the thoughts that I'm producing by utilizing logic that's based on something substantial, whether it's articles or otherwise, right? I'm not just here to do guesswork. But anyway, and these are ideas they floated before, whether they actualize on them or not. That's up to them. We'll see. But that's why they have the private ledger. That's why they have payment channels. Are people doing the research? If you look at what the XRPL defines as payment channels, you can only use XRP in payment channels. Only use XRP. Nothing else. And in payment channels, it gives you multiple ways to move wholesale payments. That's number one. Multiple ways. You can break it up into pieces or you can move it in chunks. Either way, does it make a difference? And number two, and another thing, you can only use XRP. So now, do you want to keep going to exchanges like Uphold in the future time, let's say, to get XRP? Or as a bank, do you want to just get a chunk of XRP, keep that in your closed ecosystem by whatever mechanisms? And if that's not possible now, definitely things could be upgraded to make that possible. And then it's just floating around in there. So I keep that in mind, that XRP was originally made specifically for banks, even though, turn my light back on, what I was saying before about retail with XRP, because I know a lot of people, XLM is retail. There's no absolutes in this world. I keep that in my mind. Everyone else can think what they want. And I know what XLM was made for. I've been a heavy Stellar supporter since I first came here, and have been sitting on a ton of Stellar, by the way, right? So I know all about Stellar, but that doesn't negate the fact that Ripple made for the Monetary Authority of Singapore a retail aspect to their CBDC platform. Why would they make a retail aspect of their CBDC platform if they're not going to go after retail? They see a hole in that market, and Ripple, being as ambitious as it is, I believe, is saying to itself, hey, if some of these other companies that are heavily based on retail don't take all of it, we're going to take a piece of it. Why would they not? That's money on the table. They can do it easily. Issuing a retail CBDC, running a retail CBDC, issuing all of these different public wallets and such is not as difficult nor nearly as complicated as running wholesale CBDCs. Not at all. Not at all. And the corridors are already there. So you have that aspect as well. But going back, circling back around, that is why I believe that's one of the biggest reasons I think that in the future, that price could definitely spike. Not a guarantee. It's not financial advice. But if you already had hundreds of banks, I was seeing estimations of up to 200 to 300 banks signed up at points in the past. I don't know if this changed or not. Things can change. I'm hoping that they have changed, but for the better. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for. But if you have hundreds of banks signed up to use the Ripple Net or Ripple Payments, whatever, they keep switching the name. I don't care what it's called. But if they have to use XRP in the future, I don't see them constantly buying XRP. I just don't see it. I don't see it. Once again, I'm going to reference and direct people to read up about XRPL payment channels. It's right on, was it xrpl.org? Was that the website? It's right there. You can only use XRP. So why would I keep going to buy XRP? And I could just say, hey, let's keep this in our closed ecosystem and have it flowing around. Why would I? That makes it so much easier, right? And then think about it this way. If they're all on RippleNet, they can come to an agreement if they wanted to. They can come to an agreement where they say, hey, why don't we all just keep this XRP in flow? We all buy a certain amount. It's not holding it because it's in flow. It's constantly moving capital 24 hours a day. 365 days a year. So some people have said, well, they're not going to be holding XRP. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think anybody does because we're not them. But once again, a lot of people speak in absolutes. This absolutely is going to happen. Just like when they said Bitcoin absolutely is not going to go to $100. It's absolutely not going to go to 1,000. Right. Bitcoin was absolutely not going to go to 1,000. People think in absolutes too much. They don't consider all the possibilities, but that's on them. I'm just speaking for myself. But since I have a lot of this that is brought to me, I just address it from time to time. But they can keep that in flow. So it's not holding it. It's using it for its utility. You don't listen, for prime utility. You don't have to hold these assets. They flow like water. They flow like water. And once again, lots of that will be burned. So I think that could definitely help that price skyrocket. Now, I believe that what is taking place is with all of these different things that have transpired with the SEC and the holding back because of a lack of clarity, that's significant. Not just with SEC, I'm talking about across the board, lack of clarity across the board. It has given Ripple more time to go after more banks and not just signing them up, but floating. I think that now this is just my humble opinion, but floating the idea of what I was saying before, private ledger, bringing stability. That's what I wanted to get to. Bringing stability to a higher price XRP. Not a guarantee, but it is possible. It will be acceptable volatility because of what I just stated. If they keep it in flow between them, and there's a certain amounts of money, certain averages going through that those transactions, it will bring XRP's price to a sort of stable area. Now, look at what it's doing right now. Without high volume, without high valued transactions. And it was sitting like 68 cents, 69. We've seen a couple of times where it has consolidated nicely, which means it's possible. Now, if it can consolidate nicely, I think, and I'm looking at this in a different way. If it can consolidate nicely while retail is involved, how much better would it consolidate with most of the XRP in the hands of banks? Wherever that price goes, there will be a little range. There will be so little volatility, in my humble opinion. So little. If they take that XRP off the hands of the bulk of retail, there will be so little volatility. It will not matter. It will not matter. And then even if it wouldn't matter. And who benefits from the positive volatility if it's in their hands? They benefit. You think they wouldn't want to benefit from a crypto? This is one of the reasons. I'll tell you, I have so many thoughts. Of course they would. This makes them the biggest beneficiaries, which of course they want that. They want what the banks want, what the big companies want is a crypto that not only they have control over, but they can benefit from. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I believe. And that's another reason why I think XRP is going to dominate. They've shaken so many hands. They've signed so many non-disclosure agreements, so many memorandums of understanding. They've sat in even more meetings. And I think that they're the ones who companies are looking at and saying, hey, this could be not just be beyond utility. XRP can be a moneymaker for them. It can be. It can be. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it can be. So I'm looking at those as possibilities, not guarantees, possibilities. That's just a few ideas. That's just what I can think of right now. I've had so much time to think about these things, you know. So, and I think that when it comes to the tokenization of everything, I think in the future, there is a possibility that gold, right? The value of gold in the XRPL, I think that they will be, I think that the value of gold being tokenized, digitized, I think that they could take a good swath of that. Them, XRP, Algorand, and I'll throw XLM in there as well because they have the corridors. They're in everywhere that gold is being tokenized. If you look at what a lot of the big companies are doing right now, they are involving themselves heavily in the tokenization of gold en masse, because I know there's been tokenized offerings for a long time, but it's not en masse. There's not a lot of people that are dealing with tokenized gold or even physical gold, right? This is why there's still a big push to get that idea floated to the regular people and get that into their hands. As you can see with like the development of the being able to buy physical gold at Costco and such, which was mind blowing to me. I would go to AppMex or somewhere like that. That's reputable, but hey, to each his own. But I think that a lot of countries are looking at gold as a stabilizer, a backup stabilizer for the future. This is why you have countries buying over 500 tons of gold this year alone. I believe that's what it was. I believe that's what I saw. I'm trying to see if I have the article up here. Well, you can look that up for yourself, but they've been buying tons and tons of gold at record amounts. It has only continued, right? All the central banks buying gold because the fiat currencies of the world have been greatly in a downward spiral, right? And so let's even take the US dollar, which to me, I look at the US dollar in all complete honesty is just the strongest of the weak. That's what I look at. All the fiat currencies are very weak and fragile. Their buying power is super low. It just happens the US dollar is just stronger than all of the rest. That doesn't mean that it itself is strong. No, it is not. Its buying power is absolutely pathetic right now. And if you ask anybody who's on the bottom of the heap, you know, struggling to survive, they would confirm that for you. So you can't have that. And then you can't have the rest of the world dollar dumping. That has only increased. More companies started dollar dumping in the last month. If you kept up with that news, right? You can look that up. Everything that I say, you can look up. Then on top of that, there was something else. Oh yeah, that's right. Record debt. You can't have record debt while other countries are saying, hey, we're not going to allow the dollar to be the standard anymore because now Saudi Arabia has let's say the dollar chained to oil. That was a big reason for the dollar to be established as powerful as it is in the world reserve currency. But now Saudi Arabia and other countries are accepting other currencies for oil. That definitely will have an effect. You have a lot of drop in production of oil to ship to the United States. The United States is rapidly, whether people like it or not, losing power around the world. There's nothing that they can do about that because they don't control the assets. You have to have oil. You have to have production of different products and such like that. And they just don't have that. The United States for a long time has relied on other outside entities to provide it with things. And that, like, if you rely on someone, that puts you in a very weak position. I'm going to tell you right now, it's very disadvantageous to rely on anyone because they can always take back what you need. And after a while of relying on them, it becomes crucial that you need these particular things. And right now, what's happening is you saw what happened with China. Did you keep up with that? Where they're restricting rare earth minerals and things like that. There's a lot that they're restricting, actually, a lot. That's going to come and play later. That's a strategic move on the chessboard against the United States, who in turn was restricting certain semiconductors and AI technologies, whatever that was. I don't have the details on that, but like I said, you can look that up for yourself. And restricting other things with China, all the while saying, hey, we want to come back to the table and negotiate with China. So that is affecting the economy of the United States. That affects the purchasing power of the dollar as companies say, wait a minute. If there's going to be problems in the future, we better get the money that we can get right now. And so that's one of the reasons why you see prices skyrocketing. One of the reasons. But companies know something's coming. Companies know a hard time is coming, and so they're getting the money they can get now while they can get it. They're getting it while the getting is good. And so you see food prices skyrocketing, energy prices skyrocketing, things of that nature. And like I said, now some people say, well, Saudi Arabia cut the oil. This all has to do with the dollar. This all has to do with the new financial system. All of this is tied together. You can't untie them. This all affects each other. And these things mostly affect the collapse of the legacy financial system, the collapse of the fiat systems. And it doesn't mean they have to go to zero. It just has to mean, well, if this fiat currency only buys me this much bread in this alternative system, which has a currency that's worth more that I may hold, buys me a little more bread, I'm going to use that system. Whichever system is better, that's what I'm going to use, which obviously would be the new financial system. So some people will say to me, going back to what I was saying about the oil. They'll say, well, listen, Saudi Arabia made certain OPEC plus cuts. So, a lot of countries made those cuts. Take a look at that. Right. So and then they'll say, well, but the gas prices came down because our production went up. Their production went up. But here's what concerns me. The United States oil industry at first was saying that what did they say? They said, well, we're not going to be doing production increases. And then if we did, it'll be gradual. And then out of nowhere, maybe some money moved around. I don't know. Something happened. They increased output dramatically. And I just say to myself, how long can they keep that up? Listen, there's a huge push. So they increase oil output. How long can that last before there's pushback? Because the reason that there was oil cuts in the first place, because there was pushback against the oil industry by right of what it is in and of itself, because a lot of powerful entities allegedly are against oil. So then how long does that last? How long can they keep production up before there's certain entities that have to answer at the top? Certain politicians have to answer at the top and say, hey, what do you call these? The people that voted for me. We're going to, push this other agenda a little bit more for you because that's what you voted for. And we're going to stop oil again. How long can that go? So either way, they have to face this oil problem, which affects, obviously, energy prices, which affects how much money people have to spend, right? Because more people are paying for lights and gas and things like that. However that runs, coal, all this stuff. I'm tying all this together. All of it, all of it is questionable. Whether it's oil, coal, it's all questionable, tied up into energy, right? But the more the people have to pay, which is my point, the less money they have. It was already said that the people were running out of money, right? They have their credit have maxed out. They have record low amounts in their savings accounts and now their checking accounts as well. So this all goes back to the purchasing power of the dollar. The dollar's in a bad space right now. A bad space. It doesn't buy you what it did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It doesn't. And the people are starting to wake up to that. And more I'm seeing talk about things, alternatives. Mostly they're talking about gold. You want to be real. Gold. But if the people want to use gold, like in a gold card, if those take over in the future, how are they going to do that? On the blockchain. That's the easiest way to do it. You want to be real about it. That's the easiest way to do it. A lot of people are not going to be collecting physical gold, and then having to send it in through the mail to, get that value. No. They're not going to do that. They want to do it easily, and it's going to be done digitally, which then moves across what? What's it going to move across? What's one of the most trusted blockchains right now is one of two things. And I would throw Algorand in there right now. But right now, I just don't think that they have the push that they would need from the big companies to dominate when it comes to digital gold. But it will be XRP or Stellar, one of the two. It will be one of the two. That's how I'm looking at that. And if that happens, and if that value begins to move across the XRPL or Stellar blockchain, kaboom. So the price of these things in the end, like I said, I'm not an absolutist. I just know. Well, I won't say I know. Well, let me not say I know. I believe they will go higher. They will go higher. Where? I don't know. I think every person will be safer making that choice for themselves rather than being told it's going to this price, it's going to this price, it's going to that price. I'm not here for that. But I do believe it's going higher, much higher than where it is now. And I think it can be stable there. Right. So I understand when people I've had a lot of people come into the comment section and say things like, don't sell your XRP, things like that. A lot of reasons people can say that. Some people may not want you to sell so they can use you as exit liquidity. I keep that in mind, too. I think of both ways. And some people may say don't sell just because they believe that is going to go to a higher stable price. And you could always, stake your XRP in the future, maybe something like that, or lend your XRP out. I don't know, something where you can make some kind of capital off of it, and so they may say it for that reason. You know what I mean? So I understand those things. I keep that in mind. I'm trying to consider everything that I possibly can every day. And then every day is different. We get new information and my thoughts adjust. I think that's reasonable. I think that's natural. Just like every day our body grows. Every day we lose a little bit of skin. You have a new body almost every day. How much of our body's skin is shed when we take a shower every single day, right? And you look in the bottom of that shower, that's not dirt that you're seeing if you're seeing anything, right? That skin, your body sheds skin. We all shed a different amount of skin, something like that. But your body's renewed every day. You grow every day. You change every day physically. But we can grow. We can change mentally every day as well. And so I try to make sure I don't let that growth happen randomly. I try to observe that growth within myself. I try to ensure that growth occurs within myself more than the body, more than the physical body. I'm trying to make sure that my mind grows every day. Right. So a little bit of a different video today. We'll get back to it. I have a lot of articles here I was supposed to cover, but I wanted to just talk off the top of my mind. I need to do that sometimes. It feels much better for me. And I have a lot on my mind that I typically want to share, but I can't. So I feel much better doing that now. And I appreciate every single one of you being here. If you made it this far, listening, I hope the absolute best for you. I hope that you're successful in life, and by successful, whatever that means to you. I hope you're receiving love. I hope you have the capital that you need. I hope people are appreciating you every day. I hope you're appreciating yourself every single day. I hope you're finding peace every single day. I hope all of these things for you, and I hope that I get more times to be able to say that to you. I do. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.